Joining us is Mr. Bernel Hall. He is the CEO of New Jersey Community Capital, which is currently expanding nationally. It is the leading CDFI in the nation. So for everybody who's like me, I ain't gonna sit here and act like I know what a CDFI was. I certainly Googled it. So that is a community development financial institution. And you are here to talk about, you're in Chicago to talk about what? You're here. Why?
We are here to talk about our expansion into Chicago, but also just CDFIs in general, to educate business owners, specifically those from Black communities, on how they can take advantage of the programs that are available via CDFIs to expand their businesses and improve their livelihoods.
Okay, so now we're going to rewind a little bit and go back to the CDFIs and the difference in what you do versus what we're used to seeing at financial institutions all over the country.
Great question, Darlene. So CDFIs, or Community Development Financial Institutions, were formed via the Regal Act of 1994 under the leadership of President Clinton. And the ideal is for these financial institutions to plug the gap or the access to capital issues left via conventional banks. So whereas banks are focused on profit maximization, CDFIs are focused on sustainability and also creating social economic impact, lasting social economic impact in the most impoverished communities throughout the country.
Excellent, excellent. So
where does this passion come from?
This passion comes from...
You didn't just start this.
Absolutely not.
So what in you said, this is what I want to do and this is how I want to help those in my community that look like me?
Absolutely. I am a proud descendant of a single family home. My mother worked really hard, 2 jobs to raise 4 children in a trailer park in Eastern North Carolina. I knew that I wanted to do well while doing good. So while I did take the path of going to Wall Street and getting a business degree from an Ivy League school, it was always in my heart to really create an opportunity for the next generations of Black boys and girls like me to be able to ride a similar path to the wealth creation that will give them the best quality of lives.
When we talk about wealth creation and we usually affix property ownership to that idea, the average person, many of us, are immediately thinking residential property, right? But here you're looking to discuss leveling the playing field through commercial real estate ownership. It's hard enough for most of us to just even imagine buying a house. What are we missing as far as commercial property ownership, and how do you help bridge that gap?
Yeah, the fact that it's accessible to everyone is what's usually missing. And there are many programs not just focused on your first home ownership opportunity, which NACA, HUD, and many other local and national organizations focus on getting people prepared to buy their first home. But you have many options, including working with CDFIs, to pull the money together to buy your first property. And we have encouraged people not just to look at a property purchase as an opportunity to buy a home, which, you know, if we're honest, doesn't generate income. It may appreciate in value, and you're better off having a home versus not having a home in most cases. But imagine the opportunity to buy a home with a retail store on the ground floor. You're living with your family above that, and that retail store is paying your mortgage. And at the same time, you're getting tax breaks from being able to write off some of the expenses that's going on with your property. These are the things that we want people to do initially and not just down the road.
Okay, because we are always hearing from so many people who want to start a business, they want to buy a home, but they just don't have the funds. They just don't have the capital to get started.
Sure.
But you guys will all help them find that. And do you, and on the other side of the break, because we're coming up on one, do you also, with the CDFIs, do you cater your resources, your programs to people in different communities, to people that look like us, Black and brown communities?
Sure,
okay,
sure.
Hold that thought. Hold that thought. We're going to toss to a break. Hit it on time. That way we can come back and get more out of you, too. We
are joined in studio. We are so glad to be joined in studio by Mr. Bernel Hall. He is the CEO of New Jersey Community Capital, which again is a CDFI, which is a what?
Community Development Financial Institution.
All right.
And you're based on the East Coast, but you're expanding. You're spreading
right.
your wings. And before we toss the commercial break, I was asking you, Bernel, just about the resources and what those resources look like for CFDIs in Black and brown communities.
That's right. That's right. So there's a wide variety of CDFIs, and there's some great ones in Chicago. Just want to give a shout out to the Chicago Community Loan Fund and Chicago Community Trust. They're doing a great job here, and what we'll do is augment the work that they've already done in the city. But CDFIs generally fund development projects, many of which are affordable housing and urban retail projects. We also fund the growth of small businesses, and we try to focus on Black and brown business owners and their expansion. And then some of us also develop as well. So in our case, we have a nonprofit real estate development company that builds houses to create opportunities for Black and brown people to buy their first home.
That's wonderful. I want to make sure that I understand essentially what you do. Do you do any actual lending?
Absolutely.
Okay, so I find a mixed-use property that I want to buy.
That's right.
And do I reach out to a broker, someone to help me develop an application, or can I just go straight to you?
You can go straight to us. And again, most CDFIs, unlike banks, we also provide technical assistance, because we all know working with any financial institution can be a little bit intimidating. And so CDFIs will generally have technical assistance people which will help you work through that credit application while you work on your project.
Oh, that's really fantastic. So they can just come to you, one-stop shop, get their application in, get approved. Do they need or require a real estate agent for any part of this transaction?
No, we're in the financing side of it. If you find the property and it's a direct sale, we finance that. If you went through an agent, that's okay too.
Okay, good. Now I understand exactly what you're doing. That said, tell us about some of your programs then. What ways do you tailor your programs to meet a diverse population?
Sure. We have a program where we actually give people acquisition loans to go out and buy a commercial asset. And obviously, they have to have some level of equity. But, we have programs that go as high as 90% LTV, but it's really going to be project specific as to how much we finance of the total development cost. But with those programs, people are able to go out and find a piece of property and redevelop it into whatever their imagination as well as the market will support.
So they have to come to the game with at least 10% of their own funds?
Well, it can range, right?
Okay.
If they have some pre-leasing or some level of partnership as they come, then obviously it doesn't require as much of their own funds.
I want to ask you about this. I saw an article that you kind of put together, especially as we approach Juneteenth, and just talking about the racial wealth gap. Sure. And how we get that close, if we get that tightened up a little bit.
Sure.
I mean, that's nothing but financial freedom.
1,000%. It's beyond financial freedom. We're really sort of making this a small thing as if it's a Black issue or a brown issue. This is an American issue. Literally, Citibank did a study and said that just the last two decades of racial discrimination has cost this country $16 trillion in gross domestic product, right? So when we talk about this stuff, we really got to talk about it as a threat to America. This country is only getting browner, and by 2050 it will be a majority country, and yet 84% of the wealth is in the hands of people that are much smaller.
Ooh, that's why they're so mad now.
Yeah.
They don't want to talk about that one.
Yeah.
All right, Bernel, if people want more information about what you do and where you do it, especially, like we said, you're expanding, we'll have locations here in the Chicago area. Where can they go?
Sure. They can go to NewJerseyCommunityCapital.org. And my email address is BernelHall@NewJerseyCommunityCapital.org.
And you got a whole lot of information, list of your resources here and all that. Got some great team here. Purpose Brand, PR. Purpose Brand Strategy?
Purpose Brand PR. Yeah, PR. Yeah.
Purpose Brand PR. And what was that line since I called you Lorenz Tate?
They all call me brother of the night.
Brother of the night.
I'll stop
Brother of the night.
Let's stay classy, Chicago.
Oh, brother of the night. Okay, good deal. It was great to see you. Thank you so much, Bernel.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for joining us.
You brought the East Coast by, man. We had to show you a little bit of Chicago.
I love it.
Show you a little bit of Chicago. All right, a team, a great week with you. Well,
Great
the 2
week.
days I was here. Huh?
That's all right.
But you know what we have to say? Be kind, be safe. We love you. Love on each other. And we'll